Well, hello my fine gardening friends, how the devil are you? Welcome to, what is it, the 10th of October. Where's the summer gone? Last thing I remember is doing some nice laps in the pool, going down the beach. Next thing I know, I'm in my warm top. Believe it or not actually, what was it, last weekend, so it's Friday now, last weekend it was sort of in the high 20s and even culminated on Monday in around 30 degrees here in Nova Scotia. Mrs F and I were actually cooking food and then going down to the beach and enjoying the evening sunshine in our shorts and t-shirts, and then all of a sudden we had a bit of rain and then swept through, and now it's a beautiful, as you can see, a beautiful day, but rather brisk now. So autumn, fall is definitely upon us here in Nova Scotia. As you can see, the beautiful colours are starting to come out on the trees against a lovely blue sky. And my favourite tree in the maple in the front garden is its usual beautiful iridescent orange and sort of some reds in there. Absolutely stunning at this time of year. But it's a sad time as well, isn't it? I'm at the moment cutting back or cutting down all my runner beans. They've provided me with a good supply of beans throughout the sort of mid to late summer, but we had a bit of an air frost here yesterday and it's nipped them, etc., and there's no real flowers coming now, so might as well cut them back. So it's the end of the season obviously for growing really. It's not all doom and gloom. I've still got a few things going and I'll show you what I've got in a minute, but it's all about cutting things down and starting to prepare for next year, isn't it? So I thought I'd go through a few of the jobs that I'm actually doing here in October in the veg garden to prepare for next year and also to keep things going for this year. So why don't we have a little look around and see what I'm up to. Obviously the main thing that we're doing in the garden at this time of year is cutting back, and it's really important actually to be doing that. For instance, these beans, so I'm cutting these back, cutting them down, etc., but I'm not taking the roots out because beans, etc., they fix nitrogen into the soil. So if you leave if you cut them off at the base and leave the roots in there, they will rot down and add some good bit of nitrogen into the soil for next year's growth. Now I want to cut all this stuff back because I want to use it for making compost. So let's have a quick look over there to see what I'm doing. And obviously I'm just chucking it in I'm not just chucking it in the compost bin. So why don't we have a look and see what I'm doing there. So like I said, we're obviously we're all cutting down all the sort of old veg we've got going at this time of year, cutting down the plants, the beans, everything that's starting to go over now. And compost, one of the greatest free resources that we have in the garden. And I've got a bit of a free bay compost system here, which is lucky I've got a nice bit of room. But even if you've just got one little area, it's great to be able to make at least some sort of compost. Now I'm really lucky. One of the best bits of kit that I bought over the last few years is this shredder, petrol engine shredder. So it's quite powerful, and you can get electric ones, etc. And it's really good because it chops everything up and it gives the critters more of a surface area to sort of break down all your different greenery and your brownery, etc. Normally want sort of 50-50 green to sort of brown sort of material, and that'll break down nicely. But even if you haven't got a shredder, just chopping it up with your secateurs, etc., giving it a little bit more so that like I said, they've got more surface area, will allow you to get some nice compost for next year, next spring, to get on your veg beds, to give them a good bit of food throughout the season. So really important at this time of year is to cut all your stuff down, especially when it's green, because it's the last green there's going to be before next spring, especially here in Nova Scotia, obviously, because you know, we have quite a hard winter, and that'll just give me that great, beautiful sort of compost food for the veg garden next year. So another free resource for our garden. So one of the important jobs I'm doing in October is saving seed. So I've got this, another runner bean here, and I have left a few of the pods on the actual vine to you know, grow on and fully mature their seeds, as you can see there. Beautiful seed, isn't it? Lovely purple, the old runner bean. But saving these seeds, and you know, why am I saving seeds? You could just go down the shop and get them for a couple of dollars. Well, I've saved myself a couple of dollars there, haven't I? So, you know, in these times of rather expensive stuff, you know, a bit of inflation, etc., it's another little job, you know. If you say so, I'm saving these runner beans. I've got some broccolini over there. I'm letting them. I've let them go into seed. Some lettuce there going to seed, and tomatoes. So your tomatoes now have just gone over. You might have keep some of those mature ones. What have I got in here? No, I bought them all in last night, but obviously, you know, that's a green one, but a nice mature tomato. Take them out, take all the seeds out, wash them down, dry them out, and save them for next year. And the other good reason for saving your own seed, as well as saving money, is, you know, your plants are used to growing in your conditions. So when you grow the plants from seed next year using the seed that you've saved, those plants are going to be, you know, sort of, the seeds are used to those conditions, so the plants are going to be used to your conditions, so you're more often than not going to get a nice strong plant. I've got some lovely sweet peas here as well, which I'm going to I've got some seed going as well, so I'm going to save those seeds. But you know, all your different tomatoes, your beans, anything you've got that's gone over to seed, or let it go to seed a little bit further and save those seeds for next year. Jobs are good in there. So obviously one of the easiest ways to add flavour to your food throughout the year, throughout the summer definitely, is herbs. So, and they're really easy to grow, aren't they? I've got parsley here, and they provided me with some lovely, you know, lovely flavour in my different dishes throughout the summer. We're in the autumn now, and you know, soon to become winter, and they're all going to die off. But this is, you know, still in full growth here, looking good. So another easy way to save some of that flavour throughout the year is dried herbs. And again, obviously you can buy them from the shop, but we're saving money here, aren't we? And there's nothing like the taste of your own herbs. So all I do is get a bit of string, you know, get a nice bunch of the herbs there. It could be any of these, could be dill, could be fennel here I've got on the side, mint, whatever it is, whatever your different herb is. So I just tie that up. You can and now they're going to dry off, and I put them in my kitchen actually. As you can see there, I've got them all nice and tied up and drying off, some from last year, some from this year still. Hang them up there, and you know, over the next few weeks you can still get the nice fresh herb, but it will dry off, and you've got some nice dried herbs ready at your fingertip throughout the winter to add some extra flavour to your dishes. Beauty. So it's not all doom and gloom at this time of year. Oh, the veg is all over. You still want to be thinking about some of the plants that you've still got going. Now I've got some lovely autumn fruiting raspberries here, and I love these because, you know, like I say, it's the end of the season and we're all thinking about, oh, we haven't got anything to go. This is the last sort of hurrah of soft fruit, etc., and it goes all the way into, you know, really when the first hard frosts get going here in Nova Scotia. So I've got these lovely autumn fruiting raspberries, giving me that last nice little bit of beautiful flavour of soft fruits, and they're easy to grow as well. Autumn fruiting raspberries, you know, you literally, you plant them, they grow that year, and they will provide fruit on this year's growth. And at the end of the season now, once these are finished, I'll cut them hard back, and then they'll grow again next year, and I'll get the fruit the next year towards the end of the season. And there's nothing like, where have we got? We've got some more here. And I'm getting these every single day at the moment. Nothing like a nice bit of fresh raspberry flavour on a cool day, but a beautiful day to enjoy at the end of the season. So what I'm saying there is, don't neglect the things that you've still got going. Keep picking the fruit if you've got any fruit going. If you're lucky enough to have tomatoes, you know, keep getting them in when you can. And talking of stuff still growing, let's have a look at something that we can extend the season with over here. So talking of fresh fruit and veg, I have still got some spinach growing here, some lettuce, some bok choy, and some carrots. I planted them towards the end of sort of August time, early September, and they're starting to produce some nice leaves now. As you can see, this bok choy is lovely, and the spinach is giving me some leaves every single day. And I'm hoping that my carrots, I can be picking those on Christmas Day. Some lovely roasted carrots with olive oil, garlic and thyme. Absolutely delicious with my roast turkey. And you know, I'm picking this stuff now, but obviously the nights are getting cold and we're getting some frosts. So we want to extend that season, give them a little bit of extra protection. So I've got some garden fleece here that I can just throw over them for the cold nights, and that'll give them a little bit of protection of frost, etc. over the next few weeks. If you've got some sort of garden cloche, some plastic that you can throw over the actual bed, that will give them obviously the greenhouse effects over the next few weeks. As long as I don't get any too much snow, I can extend this well into November. And the carrots, like I said, I will definitely be picking them on Christmas Day, like I do. Sometimes you've got to throw a bit of warm water over them if it's a bit of a hard frost, and that'll make them easier to pick. But yeah, give your veg that you still got going a little bit of extra protection, and you can extend that season all the way into sort of November, December time. Nice one. So it's autumn, the leaves are falling. As you can see, I've you know, in my big garden here, I've got lots and lots and lots of leaves falling. It's a bit of a big job raking all that up, but I love doing that because this is one of the greatest resources that we have in the garden for mulching. So behind me here, I've got a nice big area of leaves, mostly from last year, and you know, they break down to create a lovely, beautiful mulch. And if you sieve it, the mulch, you know, like last year's and the year before sort of mulch down the bottom there, so I'll have to dig that out. But once I sieve that, that makes a beautiful seed compost, lovely, crumbly and dark, and you know, not too many nutrients in there, which the seeds don't need. They just need, you know, a nice little moist material to be able to sort of germinate into. And again, another free resource that we can have in these times, these hard times that we seem to be having at the moment. So, you know, don't neglect your leaves. Stick them in a corner, stick them in a bag in the corner, something like that, and next year they'll break down to a lovely, beautiful mulch that you can use in your veg garden and your flower garden. Definitely jobs are good with leaf mould. So I'm in the greenhouse, as you can see, and as you can see, it's starting to look a bit on the old bedraggled side. I'm eking out the last of the tomatoes from the tomato plants, and got some basil over there that's starting to look a bit worse for wear, and various different chilies, and I've still got some Mad Hatter peppers here that are, you know, just ready to, nearly ready to sort of to harvest. But talking of extending the season, a couple of things you can do to extend your season for your chilies, etc., and think about next year is, you know, some of your basil plants you can bring into the kitchen or bring into a nice light area, and you can continue to grow them, you know, if they're nice and warm over the winter, and pick in a few leaves here and there. That often works. But with these chilies, I'm going to bring them into my, I've got a bit of an area down there that I can keep them growing for a little bit longer to make sure that, you know, they're fully mature when I harvest them. But what you can do, and what I've been doing for the last couple of years, is some of my chilies and peppers, like this one here, I cut it back to a bit of a scaffold, cut it hard back down to here, and then I keep it in a nice light area, frost free, just watering it every now and then, not too much, and then the year after, you've got a really good head start with your plant, because obviously you're not growing it from seed. And this year I got some really early chilies, like sort of early summer, and chilies obviously have a long growing season, and because we have a short growing season here in Nova Scotia, getting that head start really gets me a good go with the chilies. So if you've got the room, have a go. Cut your chili plants, your pepper plants sort of hard back, leaving that little bit of a scaffold in a nice frost-free area, and then next spring, once the frost is gone, you know, you can bring them out to wherever you normally bring them, and they will give you a nice earlier harvest than you would normally, and you're obviously going to get a lot more chilies as well, because there's more of a framework and it's more mature to get it going. So there we go. So that in the greenhouse. And as you can see there as well, I've got some lovely grapes still growing. They're really nice tasting. I was wondering about growing a grapevine in here, but I've done it, and yeah, every year now I'm getting some really nice grapes at this time of year. A bit pippy, but absolutely beautifully tasting. So I'm lucky there. Anyway, job's good and again. So there we go. There's a few little jobs we can all be getting on with in October. It's still a sad time, you know, the end of the growing season, but before we know it, you know, we get clearing up in the garden. Christmas is upon us. We'll soon be getting our seed catalogues out and thinking about the new growing season. But you know, these jobs we can be doing now. Save your seeds, clear all that greenery away, get it in the compost, chop it up, and that will give you some nice compost next year. Keep eking out whatever you've got going, growing at the moment. Give them some protection to extend that growing season. Think about overwintering your chili plants, so you don't have to go through that nightmare of you know, growing them from seed, etc. I mean, I still do. Not all the chili plants will last over the year, but you know, give yourself a chance. Bring your basil into the kitchen. Keep that growing. Any of your sort of herbs, like I said, like the parsley and your dill and your and even basil, etc. Chop that up or chop that back, hang it up in a nice light area, and that will dry to give you some nice free, again, dried herbs. So there we go. That is a few of the little jobs to do in October. All there is to do now is still to enjoy the fruits of this year. They really are really nice. Jobs are good.